You're listening to New Retirement Radio, brought to you by the team at Prout Financial Design.
Hello, I'm your host, Certified Financial Planner, Dennis Prout.
I'm Heidi Cartwright, Financial Advisor and RICP.
Advisors associated with Prout Financial Design may be either 1. Registered representatives with and securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC, and investment advisor representatives of Integrated Partners, a registered investment advisor, or 2. Solely investment advisor representatives of Integrated Partners, a registered investment advisor and not affiliated with LPL Financial. Investment advice offered through Integrated Partners, a registered investment advisor. Integrated Partners and Prout Financial Design are separate entities from LPL Financial. Dennis Prout and Nathan Prout are solely investment advisor representatives of Integrated Partners and are not affiliated with LPL Financial. The opinions voiced in this show program are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriately qualified professional before making a decision.
Good morning, everyone. It is time for the Prout Financial Design New Retirement Radio. Heidi Cartwright, Nathan Prout, Seth Shire, Dennis Prout to join us today. And welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here today.
Hey, it's great to have you be with you, Jack. Thank you. And, man, as we were talking just before the show, you're getting used to being in the saddle.
I am.
It's fun to see.
I've got a few saddle sores, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, if you do have a question of a financial nature and or a text that you have as a question, how would they get in touch? Please, Jack.
Well, it's pretty simple. 231-947-0023. You can text us, or you can use that same number, 231-947-0023, to give us a call. And Ron Pritchard standing by to answer the lines when you call.
Hey, cool. And good morning to you, too, Ron.
Good morning to you.
Hey,
over
good
there.
to see you, sir.
Thank you. You too.
Great to be here. So, as Jack mentioned, we have Nathan Prout, our own managing director. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Thanks. Great to have you. And Heidi, our executive director. Good morning, Heidi.
Good morning, Dennis. It's my pleasure to be here today on the last day of April already.
Isn't that radical? Here, May, that must mean that May is tomorrow? May does come after April, does it not? Yes, indeed. So, April showers bring May flowers. I have noticed the daffodils and others coming on. It's all right. Yes. And there going, is Beth Shire, our director of marketing. Hey, good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be here. And I do want to say, no April showers, but I did see a couple snowflakes this morning. On my way
They'll
in.
bring May flowers, don't worry.
Once they melt.
So discouraging.
Oh,
You
man.
didn't see those here, did you? Wouldn't you see it on the TV or something?
I'm sorry to say, it was on my way in. I know.
So crazy.
Live and in person.
Yuck.
Yeah. The vestiges of winter continue to hang on. All right. So it's great to be here. We have so much to talk about today. So little time. And what are those things? First of all, I'm going to be talking about longevity. Don't plan for an average retirement. And who in the audience wants to be average? No, thank you. Well, I just wanted all my life to be average. I didn't hear that recently. We all wanted to be well above average, as our teachers in elementary school might have said. Oh, he's above average, yeah. Thanks, Mom. So next, after that, what about the parents? Critical estate planning for aging parents. So we're tending toward the truly retired folks out there this morning. What do you possibly need to think about that you hadn't thought about already? Expanding the conversation. Now, this material that Heidi brought all the way from Vegas, baby, and Ed Slott and Company's IRA group meeting met out there. And the person giving that information out was the Shannon Evans estate planning attorney group.
Yeah, Shannon Evans is an attorney who is located in Las Vegas. And As you can guess, she has quite a number of colorful stories about and examples about estate planning and the problems that she's run into. And so she was the speaker, and we got to benefit from some of her insights on how to prep all of your documents and just some helpful hints to make sure things run a little more smoothly when that estate plan is initiated.
She is always a highlight of the program, and the information that she brings along and or includes in their workbook is phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
Yes, I got my 10-year badge this time when I was out at the conference, and I will say that you go twice a year, and she's been at every one that I've been at, and she's also always brought some great information to the group.
So today, talking about aging, not being average. Don't plan for an average retirement, because most of those in our listening audience, Jack, that includes you, should expect a longer life expectancy.
I like that.
Yeah, what the heck? And we've also had folks say, well, I don't want to live that long. A part of this is the planning process. When we show folks, if you will, people who are trying to get their financial plans in order, if you will, looking at life expectancies on out to age 92, 94. And I'm sure you get some interesting responses, Nathan, when we propose that.
Yeah. Whenever we're at that section of our financial plan and it shows your estimated planning age, assuming normal health and non-smoker and those sorts of things, people are like, yeah, no, I have no plans on making it to 92 or 93 or 94. And that's okay. You do you, but the more important part of that is that it's, of course, more conservative to plan longer, just in case you do. Will your money last that long?
Life expectancy trends and retirement savings are not well aligned. Most clients, again, are not average. If they're not well aligned, what does that mean? A simplistic approach to longevity planning may overlook your health and lifestyle choices. Generally, you want to think about life expectancies in all of the numbers that I've seen and or conferences, if you will, or breakout sessions that I've seen. Plan on 5 to 10 years longer. If you don't smoke, possibly even have a dog, those that have dogs tend to live longer. They're continually chasing Rover around. Get back in here, that sort of thing.
Good exercise.
Yeah. Investors may need a more complete view of their life expectancy probabilities and the implications for retirement income planning. So as you age, necessarily, there may be some other issues that come up. Something untoward toward a spouse. He or she may need some more assistance. You may have to have some folks in to help with the house. That person that always did, was willing to climb under the sink to fix it. You may have to hire somebody to do it because he or she, I'll just put it to both sides, may not be willing or able to get under there anymore.
Or get back out.
Or get back up.
That might be the key. You might be able to get under there, but it's
happened,
getting back up.
He's been under there a long time, that sort of thing. So age is 92 or 94. I just would posit, what if you make it that long? What if? I guess I could cause more trouble for my children, some people might say. So Heidi's critical estate planning for aging parents can be a part of this too. So she'll get into that after the break. But the life expectancy of a 65-year-old non-smoking married couple, so that means both of them don't smoke, okay? In excellent health, a male age 65 has a 50% chance of living to age 88. 88. Can we just call that 90?
I think that's
rounding
fair.
up a bit.
Sure.
A female, age 65, right at 90, life expectancy, average life expectancy. So again, what if you're above average? What if you're in great health right now? I mean, what if I've had folks brag, I don't take any medications. One client, I won't mention his name. I mean, the guy loves to climb trees and trim them. I'm not willing to do that. I really do admire him for this, but He's a more risk-taking individual in some respects. So, if you're in that kind of shape, that kind of health, what does it mean? It could mean that you have some greater health expenses out there that you want to plan for. It could also mean that you want to do some further estate planning. Get those documents updated. What if you don't want the one child to be the trustee of the estate because it's only grown in value? See, these financial advisors always presenting more problems for you to try to solve, especially on the radio.
Yeah, I don't want to think about it, Dennis.
No kidding. I mean, I just got up, I'm drinking my coffee, and I got to listen to you talk about how I'm going to live till I'm 95. Well,
let's hope.
Cause more trouble to your children, maybe your spouse as well. Yes. So it's incumbent upon us. I sound like King Charles there. I don't know why I came up with that word. By the way, speaking of rabbit trails, was that just the most bomb speech he gave to the to Congress? I think that was on Monday.
Yeah,
Monday
Tuesday,
was it?
Tuesday.
Like
Tuesday,
yeah. That was just the coolest thing.
He did a good job.
The comments of both sides of the aisle standing up in unison, clapping. I thought that was all right. And he certainly represented himself well. And honestly, I think it's been a huge win for both us and them. Yes. So, in fact, an 84-year-old non-smoking woman in excellent health has a 50% chance of living about 8 years. So we can say 84 to age 92. 50% chance. Pretty good. Same prediction indicates there's a 10% probability that she could live to age 100. 100. It also shows the median life expectancy probability 50% for both males and females at age 65 to live at least into their late 80s. So what could that look like? What would we plan for? Would we want to make adjustments to the house possibly? What do we want to say to the kids? Sorry. Again, maybe it's thinking more fully about the estate plans for ourselves. What's it going to really look like? Because that IRA that, frankly, we've got 500,000, a million, 2 million, 3 million in, if that continues, which we anticipate continues only to grow, given Google's earnings this morning, thank you very much, these companies striving with everything in them and their people that work for them as well to improve earnings and sometimes blow out earnings. If the economy continues, even at some degree of growth over time, that's going to tend to make a huge difference to your own portfolios that grow tax deferred. So it's not just about the tax. It's about are we going to have enough, truly, for some of that care that we might anticipate? Do we have a long-term care policy to cover some of that? If not, have we thought about what that might cost? And or do we want to think about advanced estate planning techniques? Advanced in terms of elder law estate planning techniques, specific to preserving the estate and helping pay for some of that long-term care cost expense. All right? Wow. I mean, it's just a broad brush. I know that in terms of what we're looking at. But the longevity statistics and what we're seeing in clients, Jack. I mean, we've got clients in their mid-80s now that we, in terms of their abilities, capabilities, physically and mentally, we did not see at all 15, 20 years ago. We didn't see it. So they're getting better. You're not getting older, you're getting better. Okay.
Earlier this morning, we had a geriatric physician from Munson on, and we were chatting just about that. The the old image of getting older, deteriorating, dementia. It's just not really true. It happens, of course.
Sure.
But the old the fallacies of getting old, they aren't there. People are still sharp. They're still involved. They're still doing it.
It's incredible. So the more we're learning about the aging process and how to stay healthy, how to keep moving, eating better, changing the diet up, all those things can have a market effect. That's can be exciting, but also may cause you to have to think more deeply about these things. And I was talking to Andy, our oldest son, this morning on his way to work, and he said I forget whether it was a story on the radio or specifically what he talked about. He talked about this gentleman who had made $175,000 all of his life. And yet what they had saved, and years ago, that was a pretty darn good income. Not bad today either. But he had only saved $200,000 in retirement accounts. And I said to Andy, man, at that rate, it could have well been included another comma. And he said, no kidding. But it's a much more engaging, interesting conversation for that individual to have to say, what have I got to do about advanced planning versus someone who's got $200,000 and pretty much aware that they're going to spend it all down for care and or other issues. So having saved those amounts, that conversation should be a part. Expand that conversation with estate planning attorneys and with your financial advisor. What might this look like? And or possibly update your own financial plans to include longevity and or long-term care costs as a part of it too. So what about the parents? Critical estate planning for aging parents. Shannon Evans did this at the conference, and Heidi, you're going to expand on it for us.
Right. And a couple of reasons why we like to look at this is because as you're retiring, a lot of times it coincides with when your parents start to need a little more help, or you're planning your retirement and you're seeing what you need to do and you're like, maybe my parents might need to look at this as well. I wonder if they have something in place, or do they know this? It takes financial help sometimes for parents when you're caring for them because you're the one out doing all the errands. And sometimes it takes an emotional toll as well. So trying to make things easier through planning can help everyone who's involved. So some of the statistics that Shannon gave to us, the U.S. is experiencing a silver tsunami. She says by 2030, all baby boomers will be 65 or older. So that is a huge group out there. And 1 in 5 residents will be what we call seniors.
Isn't that amazing? 2030, all baby boomers. Now, that's anyone born by, what would that be?
The 50s?
Well, I don't know when it
to
ended.
the 60s.
Yeah.
Right, I know it's 50s to 60s, but by 2030, that would mean someone born in 60.
The early 60s,
Yeah.
65.
2, 3, something like that.
30, yeah.
All that
65.
math.
Yeah, sorry, 1965.
So
So it's
40, 46 to
study.
64.
64, yeah.
I'm glad we could resolve that. So estimated dementia statistics in the U.S., Shannon said by 2030, there'll be 83 million people dealing with different stages of dementia. So steps you can consider are to make sure that your parents, whether they have a revocable trust, will, or medical and financial powers of attorney, are those essential documents updated? Confirm the property that is supposed to be in the trust or go into the trust. Are they properly titled? It's a lot more trouble if after the parents pass away and maybe the car or some other asset was supposed to be in the trust and it's not titled that way. Trying to get it into the trust is going to take more effort. So you want to make sure things are titled correctly.
Now, that can make a huge difference. If your real estate is not titled in the trust, it's going to pass according to how the real estate is owned in most cases. And that would simply mean joint tenants. So if a joint tenancy between you and a spouse, you both pass away, it's a probated asset without it having been in the trust. So what does that mean? You call the Register of Deeds and simply, Grand Traverse County or whatever county you live in, ask them what's required to get that property re-registered in the name of the trust. And many times an attorney can help with that as well.
Exactly. You also, some other helpful hints, confirm computer and phone passwords, any passwords to bank accounts, or maybe the combination to the home safe. Does somebody know where that is? And we, in our practice at Prout Financial Design, we've seen some of these problems. People come in and they've inherited or they're the trustee for their parents' trust, and they have all these little things that they have to try to find. They can't get into the portal. They can't get into certain things. So we created what we call the Prout Planner. And the Prout Planner is just a booklet that has space for everybody to put down all your bank accounts, what real estate you own, what credit cards you have. Do you have a power of attorney? Do you have a health directive? All these things in one place. But these are important elements to have because, for example, another one of Shannon's tips are make sure that if you have a safety deposit box, somebody knows where the key is. She was giving us examples of you put all your important documents in your safety deposit box, but if no one knows where the key is and no one else is on the registration at the bank, you can't get to that to start the process. So just all these little details.
That's great. And this Prout Planner is a fantastic document to leave in your file with your estate planning documents. Talk about ease for loved ones to be able to reference. What about the personal insurance companies, dependents, key contacts that you want to look for, investment accounts, brokers, annuities, retirement plans, 529 college plans, stock certificates, all that sort of thing. I mean, there's about 8 pages of information. This was put together probably 8-10 years ago, and I think it's even better now given the variety of assets we are seeing clients own. Real property, real estate. We own a house, perhaps a cottage as well. Talk about that. What are the addresses? That sort of thing. So that those that follow are going to say, didn't Dad and Mom own this lot up in the UP with 2 acres? What about that? Well, you can list that, obviously, in the properties within this document so that they can much more easily reference it.
So I've kind of started doing that because I do realize that, one of these days somebody's going to need it. We're also talking about passwords for social media accounts, for different newspapers, subscriptions, and things like that. It's all they're going to need it all just so they can tidy things up. So there's a lot. When you stop to think about it, there's a lot of information that we hold that nobody else knows.
That's right. We create or tend to create more and more complexity.
Yeah.
And frankly, most of us discount that in terms of what the kids know. Oh, they know all about that. Well, we've heard that conversation, and it's usually not accurate. Many times they don't know about it.
Or they heard about it, they just didn't pay attention.
Of course. Yeah, that too. Yeah.
I mean, what Jack says is so true. We had a case in the office where the children come in and they're trying to deal with the parents' estate and they're contacting these different custodians. Well, the parents had signed up for email correspondence only. So all the correspondence coming back was going to the email, but the kids didn't have the password to the email. So they're like not getting the information. And it was very frustrating. And it took a lot longer than it needed to. It just became a problem. And so trying to smooth the path is what these suggestions are for. A couple other suggestions would be to take a look at any life insurance policies, especially if they have a specific role in your estate plan. Sometimes you may have a life insurance policy that is going to be used to fund a certain trust or something like that. In that case, you want to make sure those premiums are being paid and continue to be paid so that it works the way that it was intended. Also look at any IRAs or 401ks or any retirement plans that the beneficiaries are titled correctly that coincide with your estate plan. You do all that work, but if you forget to change the beneficiary, it can sort of get you off the rails on that planning part.
And I know we've said it before, but sometimes people are like, hey, we have a trust, so we don't need to worry about the IRAs because the trust says who those pass to, but that is not the case. The named beneficiary on the IRA account is who that money is going to go to when something happens to you.
Whether or not it will go according to the trust if the trust is named within as the beneficiary on that IRA account. You may want that trust to be named, you may not, depending on the situation. That's where the nuances, if you will, of that planning need to be done with a knowledgeable estate planning attorney as well as a knowledgeable financial advisor for yourself.
Exactly. So let's think about long-term care. Nobody likes to, but sometimes we need to think about that. You want to be prepared when you're making those decisions and choices. So check life insurance and annuity policies to see if there's some kind of long-term care rider or some benefit that you can access. The VA, the Veterans Administration, they have programs that offer long-term care. So if you are a veteran, you might want to check that out so you know what is available to you. Medicare will cover a first 100 days in a facility or a skilled nursing facility, but it is not a long-term care provider. So that should not be your plan, is Medicare, right?
Right.
And if you don't have any long-term care policies, you may want to shop for a short-term care policy. This is something where you could get coverage for a shorter period of time, 50 to 400 days, or maybe 1 or 2 years worth of coverage. Maybe the long-term care policy may be out of your reach, but maybe you could do a short-term policy that would help the financial health of your portfolio.
Yes, we have a phone call here.
We have
Jack.
a couple, and I'm not sure
Exciting.
who we're going to, but we're going to do it anyway. He jumped on that one, so let's go to this one. Hello, you are with Dennis Prout and his crew. What can we do for you? And who are you, may I ask?
Hi, this is Jeff from Lake Leelanau. How are you?
Good, Jeff. Thanks for calling in. What can we do for you?
Well, I haven't been listening for about the last 4 or 5 minutes, but I wanted to comment about something on power of attorney that I've learned, quote, the hard way recently. I was given general power of attorney over my stepmother's affairs, and I thought a power of attorney was like this secret key that unlocked all the doors, only to discover that it depends on what it says in terms of the scope and depth, breadth, and scope of the POA, and then also let audience members know that that power of attorney then has to be submitted to every entity you deal with, and then they have to give it to their lawyer, and then that lawyer then approves the depth, breadth, and scope of what you're allowed to do on a particular account or one of the financial affairs. And it's not a quick process, so people need to know they can't get in a hurry with it, and they do need to make sure that the POA is broad enough that they can then, if they have to, argue with the individual entity attorney to get done what you need to get done as POA.
Jeff, fantastic. Thank you so much for calling. Agree in principle with everything you just said. That's phenomenal in terms of what you need to know, what the limitations are, and the fact that it takes longer than what you might have anticipated to get all these financial companies under control, if you will. Yes.
Yeah. I had to have some pretty I don't want to call them fights, but disagreements with the entity lawyers where they saying, well, we're only going to let you do these 3 things. I said, no, you're not. I've got 9 things in this POA, and I need, number 7 and 8 done, and you're going to pay attention to me. And they'll try things like, well, that's not our policy. And you go, sadly, you have to say, good, then I'll have to engage my lawyer. And then they pretty much give up at that point and give you what you need.
Good inside information to have, Jeff.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
Well,
and we do have
something else.
Okay,
Just a
go
moment,
ahead.
Jack.
Yeah.
There's something else, Nathan, as well.
Oh, yeah. a lot of power of attorneys too, and we've seen this a lot at our office. You know, the clients are so proud that they got it done and they drop it off, and it's the medical power of attorney. So typically there are, you know, 2 powers of attorney that you might need, one for all of your medical directives as well as one for all of your financial directives.
So the medical durable power of attorney and also the financial durable power of attorney. So healthcare as well as financial, generally 2 separate directives. Okay. Yeah.
So we have a text question.
Yes.
Since we broke from the, is there a difference between a financial advisor and a financial planner?
Not everyone uses them interchangeably, but we consider ourselves retirement planning consultants, financial planners, and financial advisors. We get involved with the whole gamut.
Okay. And
Yes.
I think we have another caller on line 1. Who do you know who it is? Right?
Yes, it's Bill.
Bill.
And he's got a comment about power of attorney.
All right, let's
Great.
do it. All right, Bill, you are with Dennis and his team. Good morning.
Hi, guys. Everybody doing well this morning, it sounds like. I just wanted to weigh in on the power of attorney thing also. Just about 9 years ago, I had to be the trustee for my mom's trust, if you will, when she passed away. And she had a really good trust put together by a local trust attorney, if you will, that dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. And when I took that little cheat sheet that attorney gave me, and I went and did all the different things that you have to do, I never had any issues at all. I think a lot of times it's how it's prepared, and then obviously how complex the estate may or may not be. But I was so thankful that it was that way, and I had no issues at all. It was very timely too.
Excellent. Good to hear. Some good news on good planning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you have a good estate planning attorney who gives you the details in terms of how to do this and how to plan for it, now there is a module from Ed Slott and Company of how, in essence, how to be a trustee of a trust, the responsibilities of a trustee of a trust. And we should make that module available. If you are concerned about that, we'll make that available to you if you want to call our office. Nathan, if you could tell Janie, we may well get some phone calls there, at 947-3992. The responsibilities of a trustee of a trust, so that you're aware of what those are. And there are about 8 or 9 pages, but there are 5 to 7 points in there that are key points in terms of what your responsibilities are going to be, and or for those who have trusts, what to relay to your own children or what they need to be aware of in handling a trust, being the successor trustee after mom and dad have passed away in this case.
So, this is a big deal to be that executor and a trustee.
Yeah.
Are there any legal repercussions that when somebody says, yeah, I'll do that for you?
No, never.
Can you get into
You
a little
guessed it.
bit of hot water?
Oh, yeah. Because you are a fiduciary when you're handling that trust. And you have the demands of not only the assets, getting those liquidated in proper order. And this is not all the details. This is not all the stuff of what's required. I'm just, broad brush. But the financial assets, liquidating those properly. 2, making certain that all the beneficiaries are made aware of the assets, giving them proper notification. 3, if there are issues, getting all the paperwork done. The paperwork is required, getting the assets split out to those beneficiaries in the proper way. What if it's a big IRA and there are 2 beneficiaries of it? Are they opening beneficiary IRAs to receive those assets properly so that they're not taxed on that distribution to those beneficiary IRAs? You see how complicated it gets. Yeah. So it's usually not expensive unless you make a mistake. Mm-hmm. Then it can be really expensive because the taxes can be owed and due at the time of distribution if it's not distributed properly to those beneficiaries in the order it should have been done.
Sounds like you better really like the person that you're agreeing to do this for.
Yeah, and be aware of those responsibilities.
Yeah.
And in some cases say, I don't want that responsibility. I am concerned about my siblings and how they're going to respond to me, for instance, serving as that successor trustee. Perhaps you want to name a corporate trustee, a bank, or other trust company to handle the distribution of those assets for that very reason.
And you should really look at it like it's going to be a part-time job. Being a trustee is a part-time job in my estimation. It can take a lot of time. At certain times, at certain things are going on with the trust. So just prepare that it is a responsibility that is going to be like a little part-time job for you for a while.
That's right.
And
That's a great
when
way to
we
look at it.
when we had Courtney, she had kind of spoken when you are making those designations, when you're doing your own personal planning, that the importance of looking at a person's skill set. Are they fit for the position that you're putting them in, the decisions that they're going to be needing to make, and different things like that. So that responsibility falls on you, absolutely.
You bet. So you've got Roth conversion considerations. Now it says 50, but you're going to cover about 8 to 10, right? The biggies. Perhaps expanding the conversation just
One
a
or
little
two.
bit. No, we don't have time for 50, yeah.
All right, hang on. 55. Here we go. No.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so this also comes to us from the Ed Slot class that Heidi was just at in Las Vegas. But I picked a few that I thought are good considerations before you go down to see if this is a good road for you and your portfolio. So the first one that I want to highlight is how big is the IRA? So this is the first and most important consideration. And what they say is a large IRA of 500,000 or 1 million plus will likely be a future RMD tax problem since these balances will grow. A series of partial Roth conversions annually can reduce that balance over time. But if the IRA balance is under 500,000, it is more likely to be spent during life and withdrawn at lower rates with less of that balance, of course, passing on to beneficiaries. So in that scenario, Roth conversions may not be necessary since the IRA funds can be withdrawn at lower tax rates during lifetime, and any funds left to the beneficiaries wouldn't be that much of a burden as they withdraw that over the 10-year period, assuming they're a non-spouse beneficiary.
Unless, of course, they're in very high tax brackets and extremely successful. And given that your brackets are lower, you may want to pay that tax at your rate anyway, because these conversions are not just about it's also about the fact that the beneficiaries that you may still like, you'd like them to see them pay less tax. It depends on your position. This is general information, of course, in terms of what this means. You bet.
Yeah, and going right into that, what will your future tax rate be? So the larger the IRA, the more likely most people will be in a higher tax bracket in retirement due to larger RMDs and other tax increases or potential losses of deductions that you had while you were working. And I'll just highlight a few of these potential loss of deductions. So if you're not making contributions anymore to a 401k because you're not working, maybe you were itemizing and you had mortgage interest and you have your home mortgage paid off now that you're retired. State and local tax deductions may not be as high. No more tax breaks for dependent children, even though they might still act quite dependent. Or no more business tax deductions as well.
How do those kids still stay on our cell phone group? I have no idea. You know, they're still there. Yeah. Why are we still paying for their cell phone coverage? I have no idea. I've heard that comment more than once. You bet.
I think that's one of the last things to go, right? The cell phone.
Oh, Mommy, don't you love me anymore?
Get that family right.
Yeah, and then of course, what is your timeline to use the funds yourself? If you're doing the Roth conversions, at least partially for your own retirement plan and not just for your beneficiaries' tax brackets. So if you're before the age of 59 and a half and you're doing Roth conversions, you have a 5-year clock on every Roth conversion that you do. And if you're before the age of 59 and a half and doing a Roth conversion, what should you not do, Heidi?
Well, you should not withhold the taxes and have the taxes that are due on that conversion sent in if you're under 59 and a half.
And why is that?
Because there's a penalty for taking funds out of a traditional IRA if you're under 59 and a half. So that penalty would be assessed on the amount that you had withheld and sent to the IRS. And what could be worse than getting a penalty for sending money to the IRS? An additional penalty.
I mean, it's like, that's brutal, isn't it?
So don't do that.
Don't do
It's like
that.
that old Mac Davis song. She got the gold mine, I got the shaft, or whatever. Not necessarily referencing the IRA, but that's kind of how it looks.
And if you're over the age of 59 and a half, of course, that 10% penalty wouldn't apply, but it's still usually a good idea to be ready to pay the taxes on that conversion with funds outside of the conversion. So funds that you have at the bank or in a non-qualified account. And then the last point that I'll hit, and this is a quick one, but what if you can't afford to pay the taxes on the Roth conversion? Then don't do it. No one should do not go broke converting, especially seniors who will need the funds to live on and will likely be in a lower tax bracket.
Great point, because you may have some deductions you hadn't intended at all, especially for care costs.
Absolutely, right? Yeah, and it looks like we do have time for a couple stats as well.
Let's do that, Beth.
All right. So last night, the fate of the stock market for the next 90 days was determined in about 10 minutes. 4 of the Magnificent 7 reported earnings last night. Alphabet's earnings and revenues blew past expectations.
Google, also known as Google.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Google's profit was lifted by blockbuster gains in some of its equity investments. Equity securities helped power a net gain of $37.7 billion.
Not a bad quarter.
No.
I think we mentioned them last week or the week before in terms of the variety of their businesses that they have. It's amazing. How much time do we have here,
Minute
Jack?
and a half.
Minute and a half. You got one other.
Okay, I do.
Awesome.
Meta jumped up. The company's all-important ads business jumped 33% to $55 billion in revenue.
That's a bit of money.
That's
It
a lot.
is
Yeah.
tremendous.
There's always something, isn't there?
Oh,
There's lots of facts and figures. You really do need folks like you to help, because I didn't really.
I love doing it, Jack.
Help me.
Really
help
do.
Me. Help
Awesome.
me, Dennis. Help me.
Now you have that proud planner, you'll be all set,
I'm gonna
right?
be all set. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks, everybody. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Great.